15 things poor people do that rich don't. Welcome to your official calm, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. We know that many of you are on your way to financial success, so we wanted to put together a list of things that poor people do what guarantees our mediocrity. Please take all these with the grain of salt and realize these are here to make you think about your current situation and what you could do better yourself. The thing is, whenever we do a video like this, some people will always take offense while you are busy bashing us in the comments. The true Yore write these down and see if there is room for improvement in their own life in order to make a list that actually valuable for you guys. We've consulted with some of our own mentors and millionaire friends about some of the difference between poor and rich in their day-to-day life. As always, there are plenty of exceptions to these rules. Not everyone is in control of those circumstances. But being aware of these habits and activities might give you slightly edge, and who knows, if you stop them, maybe you would be closer to that goal. You've been dreaming about here 15 things poor people do that rich don't. Number 1. Poor people watch a lot of TV. Let me put it in this way. If you have the time to watch reality TV, you're probably poor. It's always amazing how much time people waste their meaningless televisions. It's one of those distractions of grab you that doesn't let you go. You know which celebrity is dating who if you are watching TV shows every week as this episode come on. If you have the favorite news, you probably watch too much television, hence why your life is the way it is. Let us explain celebrity gossip and buzz offers no value to your life. It only serves the celebrities rich people aim to be on TV instead of watching it, you might say. But I'm watching as Big Bang Theory, which is really funny, shows it helps me disconnect. That's exactly the issue. You disconnect from your problems instead of dealing with them and getting them out of the way. There are rare occasions where, in the words of John Lennon, time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. But really, think about it. Should sitting and slide watching a screen be something you really enjoy? Before we move forward to the second thing, poor people, let me explain what we meant to have a favorite news channels. You might say that the only good reason to watch TV is to be aware of what's happening in the world, staying informed the problem. We're saying with this is TV stations are always based in order to pick their own. Instead, use the power of internet to get quick glimpse of what the world is like today and move on to what you think. Number 2. People eat fast food. Health is really important and many poor people have no interest in what's in their food. What exactly actual healthy meal should look like or barely know anything about nutrition. Poor people are blasting their brains with large quantities of sugars and fats with no nutrition value. They are actively running their bodies as in effect they cannot perform at 100% of their potential. If you are not healthy all aspects of your life, you are directly affected. You will suffer physically and mentally, professionally and even romantically. Number 3. Poor people buy clothes or products on sale. Let me put it this way. The only thing you should buy on sale are stocks. While poor people are looking to conserve their stretch a little, they have the rich focused on increasing their incomes. Just think about it. Clothes that end up being on sale are the ones that could afford to pay the full price. Didn't want by buying clothes on sale. You are just making sure that you are looking exactly someone who can't afford to pay the full price. Number 4. Poor people wake up later than rich people do in their early years. Poor people are often lazier than the rich in the early days. We know that some of you will bothered a lot of by previous statement, but statistically, it's the truth. Someone who used their youth to grow themselves is a lot less likely to remain poor later on in their life instead. If you wake up late, don't educate yourself, waste time in meaningless activities, at one point you will find yourself so far behind what the world's need from you, and you'll end up in miserable. And paradox is that people who do not focus on growth in the early days end up working a lot harder with little success rate later in the just life. Number 5, where people are really into sports. The truth is, unless you are a professional athlete or an owner of one team, really no reason for you to watch sports. It's the same with television, it's escapism from your current reality. Think of it like this: you are putting yourself in a position where you, as an individual, have no impact on the outcome of the game. Zero impact. This behavior then sticks with you, and you end up being suspected in the life instead of being a player on your own. And that's when you're criticizing other people when you yourself haven't done anything better. Number 6, poor people don't shower as often as rich people, who initially we thought this would just made up fact. But it turns out to be true and amazing. It explains a lot when you really think about it. Most of jobs today are in the service industries where human contact is the most in order to have successful exchange of value. People who don't have good personal hygiene will in time be less successful than their counterparts. People tend to trust them less, people want to spend less time when they are present, and all of this has ramifications in their personal life. If people don't like you and don't want to be around you, what kind of partners will you attract exactly? It might seem ridiculous, but the first step to success should be an early morning shower. Number 7, poor people blame others for their misfortune. How many people do you know that have some sort of excuses, blame other factors for not having successful yet? There are some things that are out of control, but 99% of your life is on you. Remember that you are in charge of your life. You are in charge of your relationship. You are in charge of your health. You want this to change, do something about it. Life is not what happens to us, it's how we react to what happened to us. When something bad, the poor choose to victimize themselves while the rich look into study it. They seek to find out what happened, why it happened, and how they can protect from it in the future. While one assumes the position of one honorable victim, the other uses its growing point. Number 8, poor people have no money saved. One of the difference between poor people and the rich is that the former don't get ready to what's next. Having money put aside allows your growth. Let's say something bad happens. If you have money put aside, the problem is solved and you can resume your life. If you don't, the situation is urgent. What do? Either liquidate an asset like your car, houses, etc., or you can take a loan for rich when the situation is over. They are left in the same position, savings. While someone who poor, their lifestyle has been dramatically hit and now belongs to a creditor now. Let's look at the exact opposite. An opportunity arises. Those who have money put aside now have the chances to expand their lives, while the others can't afford to take a full advantage of this opportunity. That's why the rich growing richer while the poor is getting poor. Number 9. Poor people use credit cards or take out loans for useless things. One of the main difference between rich and poor is how they make us make use of credit. The rule is simple. If you take out a loan to buy something that doesn't generate more money than the loan, don't take it. It is that simple. You should only use credit if what you be using for it an investment. Want to take out a loan for a large TV? Don't want to loan to buy the new Supreme gear? Don't want to use credit card to get the new iPhone? Don't, unless you are flipping the Supreme gear for profit or you are using your iPhone to develop a new app to grow your business. This item should not be your credit. Instead, earn the money and then spend it. You'll learn more about this on the number 12. 10 poor people tend to have more kids and earlier in life. The truth is, kids are really expensive. We all know how fun it is to make them, or at least practice making them, but people get stuck up at this point. They don't think it's true just to give you a sense perspective. If you living in one of more developed countries, raising a child will cost you approximately $250,000 because of lack of education, that environment and other factors. Poor people have an average more children and at a younger age than their rich counterparts, while the rich wait a couple of years until the standard of living improve in order to assure the right environment and prime condition for their child to flourish. The poor just go ahead with it. Once the baby comes, the struggling begins, just so they can stay afloat and progress beyond bravely surviving is almost impossible to achieve. Number 11. Poor people do not do regular checks, they are doctors. We've touched on the importance of health in the past, but this is an especially important point for people do not get themselves checked regularly. Let's say by mere chance you end up having difficult diseases. Let's say cancer. If you do regular checkups, you will discover early stages, making the treatment possible at a lower cost. If, on the other hand, you neglect to do so, you might discover it only when it is too late. It will cost you both and your entire family a fortune, and no matter how much money you have, you might still lose your life. Number 12. Poor people spend money because they get it. One of the biggest dangers in life is spending money before you have it. In the second you start borrowing money to acquire expenses before you will able to pay them, your life starts and spiral down. If you don't have money for something that you willing to part with affecting your life, then you can't afford it to go back to work. And then get it. Number 13. Poor people surrounded themselves with other poor people. True angle knows that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most of. If you surrounded with 4 poor people, guess who the 5th? One of the ways people make sure they stay poor is by associating themselves or hanging out with the other poor people that reinforce their core belief. You need people around you that will inspire you and push you further, that you're doing incredible things themselves, whose success only motivate you to exceed your current reality. If you are hanging out with the same people you did when you were young, you might want a double check. Don't be afraid to step away from a crowd and move on to something better. If you don't, your potential will probably be crushed by those who won't feel better about their miserable lives by making sure you suffer the same fate. Number 14. Poor people never follow through on their ideas or potential. You are not able to control who your parents are, where you born, or the way society treats you. The only thing you can control is the amount of your hours you put into your dreams. Every single person alive only has 24 hours per day, and yet some do a lot more than others. If you dedicate yourself to learning and implementing more about what you're passionate about, it's only a matter of time until you research and success. You heard that 9 out of 10 business fail in their first 3 years. Well, do you know how many business fail because they never got started? The answer is all of them. If you have an idea, work on it, put it out, get feedback, improve it, launch again and again and again. It took us 3 years of writing. Number 15. Poor people believe that others should help them reach the top of the world. Doesn't owe you anything. Nobody does, believe it or not. You are in this by yourself. You are in charge. What happens in your life? The thing is, everyone believes when you are young that they are going to be successful. But then reality happens this world. We are living in rewards only the best, and the best who's the never quit, those keep learning. Keep adapting and understand that nobody will solve the problems for them. Face them head on along the way. You might meet people who feel the same way and might spare parts of the journey with you. Otherwise, you'll just be a part of that majority that's meant to fail. We know this video was pretty long, but we believe that maybe this video will help you in our journey. If you know someone who's guilty in any of these 15 things, please do them a favor. Show them this video oh, please share this video. We are curious to know what things do you believe poor people do that the rich don't? What would you do? Add to this list. Let us know in the comments. Oh, you're still here. Quite interesting. Here's some bonus fact: poor people are a lot more religious than rich people. Can you imagine the chores if you started the video with this? One of the fact that statistically speaking, successful people rely on their own forces for their well-being, while the poor hopes that the methodical forest will somehow reward them for being a good person, even though presidents might mention God in their speeches. They are not really religious. One great example is Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who's being for the biggest part of his life an atheist, but since he might consider a position in politics in the near future. Please write "I will be rich" in the comments section. Make your desire public so we can keep you accountable for them. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss any other videos. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you to watch next. Thank you for being an Yore, and we'll see you back. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and be sure to turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any videos just like this one.